What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 9 of Crime in Court USA. I'm your host, Mundo Carrillo. Today is May 21st, 2021. I hope you guys are doing well. I am doing just fine. Thanks again for asking. I've been going a little stir crazy. Been wanting to get out and about lately. You know what I mean? Just, it's getting warm. It's pretty much summertime. You know, we're definitely in the springtime. Gets a little windy here in New Mexico during the spring, so it makes you kind of not want to go outside. Makes you want just eyes just full of dirt and sand. You know what I mean? It's not very fun, but yeah. So yesterday I was planning on going to a coffee shop and just kind of working for a while, just doing some writing, stuff like that. And I was driving by the coffee shop and I just kept on going. I was like, nah, I don't know. I just kind of want to drive around for a little bit. I'm sure you guys do that too, right? Where you just get in the car and just sort of aimlessly drive around. You just, nowhere in particular, you just need to get the hell out the house. You know what I mean? So I just kept driving all over Albuquerque. Didn't get anything done. I was planning, like I said, on actually doing stuff at the coffee shop, but I just ended up driving around for a bit. Oh man, I got some fried chicken at like my favorite spot. It's all good. It was still a day well spent, I guess. I didn't do a whole lot. Oh boy, what else? I finished the Son of Sam documentary on Netflix, the limited series. It actually turned out to be more about this investigative reporter who was, for all intents and purposes, obsessed with the Son of Sam case. And he went out to, I guess, prove that it was part of that the Son of Sam, Damon Berkowitz, was part of a satanic cult that was actually all carrying out the killings back in New York in the 1970s. And yeah, it kind of really didn't turn, I mean, obviously it was about the Son of Sam murders and all that, but it was kind of mostly about this reporter and how he was kind of obsessed with it and stuff. So yeah, not quite what I was looking for as sort of a newbie to the Son of Sam murders. And I guess, yeah, I could look into it myself. You know, I could very much do my own research, but as a newbie, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this documentary are, since those murders happened in the 70s, I would have liked a little more just on those. But I guess, you know, it's probably been covered before. You know, it's years old. Got to find a new angle on it. I get it. I mean, it was still interesting, just because I used to fancy myself an investigative reporter, so I kind of like when people get into that mindset of just really obsessing over one case. So gotta respect it. But I don't know. The show itself wasn't quite what I was expecting. I do want to check out Why Did You Kill Me? I think it's just a one-timer, just like a feature-length documentary on Netflix. That looks pretty good. Yeah. Just keep my eye out for good true crime, for a good documentary, especially on Netflix. Netflix has been killing it, those documentaries. So yeah, I'll keep throwing some out that I see to you guys. You guys throw out some good recs to me, and we'll keep it going. And before I move on, I do want to say rest in peace to Paul Mooney, comedian Paul Mooney. You guys probably know him from Chappelle's Show. He showed up every once in a while. I don't know, what do you say? Something about Brian Gumbel looking like Malcolm X. That dude. Yeah, that dude's funny, man. But I passed away at the age of 79 this week. I didn't realize he was that old. But yeah, just thought I would throw that out there. All right, let's get into some actual news, shall we? So the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, announced that she is conducting a criminal investigation into former President Donald Trump's business practices. She was doing a civil investigation before that, but this is different because with a civil investigation, she could have, I guess, basically just sued him for, like, I don't know, if he owed money or something like that, did something with his taxes, she could sue him. I'm probably talking out of my butt there. Anyways, it's not criminal, all right? It's not criminal stuff until now. Until now, she's saying that she's criminally investigating the business, which there are no criminal charges so far, but criminal investigation is underway. And today, on the 21st, she also announced that she is investigating the Trump Organization Chief Financial Officer Alan Weisselberg. This is a quote from the New York Times. It says, quote, "The investigators have examined whether taxes were paid on fringe benefits that Mr. Trump gave him," that's Mr. Alan Weisselberg, "including cars and tens of thousands of dollars in private school tuition for at least one of Mr. Weisselberg's grandchildren," end quote. And the Manhattan DA has been investigating Trump on a criminal basis since 2018. Again, no criminal charges. And this is kind of going back to a lot of people around Trump being charged or criminally investigated, some even already doing prison time. And so far, Trump has not been charged with anything, even though everyone around him seems to be getting charged. He keeps sort of dodging that bullet. So we'll see how that all goes. Again, just an investigation at this point. No criminal charges, but when criminal charges drop, I'll be there. All right, let's move on. So the House has passed this, bill that would create a commission to study the January 6th Capitol riot, but it doesn't seem like it'll pass the Senate. So according to the New York Times, I don't know, I guess they want to study what led to the riot, which there's already like a Justice Department investigation. There are already several investigations into the Capitol riot. So I guess the Republicans in the Senate were saying that this kind of just might interfere with those investigations, and that there are already a bunch of investigations going on. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know if this is important or not, because again, hundreds of people have been criminally charged. Donald Trump is basically shunned from social media for using social media to incite this riot. So I just thought I would mention that, because we have talked a lot about the Capitol riot, and we'll be talking about it more in the future, I'm sure. So I've also talked a lot about some possible changes to the Supreme Court with President Biden creating a commission to study possibly expanding the court and possibly forcing justices to retire after a certain age. The commission had its first public meeting on Thursday, the 20th. Shoot, did I get my dates wrong earlier? I don't know. Sometimes I'm bad with dates. Anyways, they had their first meeting on Thursday, the 20th. Seems like they mostly did some administrative stuff, so nothing too exciting. But that'll be super interesting to read the report on that when they finish it up. I think the Democrats want to expand the number of justices from 9 to 13 and stuff the rest of those 4 spots with liberals, so that they would hold a liberal to conservative majority. Because now the conservatives have the majority 6-3. Yeah, I think even a couple of Democrats introduced a bill to outright expand the court to 13 justices. That got shot down because this commission was created, so they do want to study the issue first. So we'll see. That'd be pretty interesting if they say, because again, the Supreme Court is usually something that doesn't get touched. I mean, it hasn't really been touched since the 1800s. So if they change the number of justices, or if they force justices to retire at a certain age, that'd be interesting. That'd be historic. So we'll see what happens. I've also kind of been following this Epic versus Apple trial. Epic Games, who created Fortnite, the Battle Royale, they sued Apple for basically saying that, they're arguing that Apple has a monopoly on its app store, and that they completely call the shots. And I don't even think Fortnite is on any Apple products, which is crazy, because Apple's like the biggest mobile like the biggest mobile device, and with the iPhone, and I mean, Fortnite's one of the biggest games out there. I'm sure it still is. So it's kind of crazy that the game isn't on Apple devices. But yeah, the trial's still going on. A lot of gaming news has come out of the testimony and stuff, but I might check back up with that when the trial's over. It might be one of those things. I'm not sure what the jury situation's all about, if there's an actual jury or if there's a bench trial. If it's a bench trial, we might take months to get a ruling, just because the judges, if it's just the judge deciding on something, then they'll usually take a while. Sometimes, in my experience. I guess all judges are different, but yeah, it might take a while to see that. I don't know what kind of implications that might have. That's something I think I'll look into, because I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd have to look into what that would all mean for app stores and all that. So that might be kind of interesting. That's business. That's kind of a lot of stuff I haven't really looked into in my time as a reporter. It's kind of one of my blind spots. That's kind of all that's gone on in the last few days. Yeah, just kind of another sort of laid back episode. Still trying to figure out what I want to do with this podcast, guys. I've started some, I guess basically some files on some bigger stuff I want to talk about. Hopefully I can start rolling those out in the coming weeks, because a lot of stuff does take research and it does take some time to work on. So I want to do that. Also, like I said last episode, I kind of want to get back into doing some actual journalism. I want to do interviews and seek out new information, all that kind of stuff. I want to figure out how to incorporate that into podcasts, because I'd only really previously done that in print or in a text form with online stories. So yeah, I want to figure out how to bring reporting to the podcast world. Until then, though, still going to get episodes every Wednesday and Saturday, as I've promised. Appreciate you guys being with me on this journey. Remember to share this podcast with your friends, with your enemies, with your family, whoever. It's get the word out there, man. We're brand new, so we could use all the exposure we can get. You can rate it and review it. Apparently that helps the algorithms. People get to discover the show a lot easier. That'd be pretty sweet if y'all can rate and review the podcast if you can. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.